Today is Valentine's Day. It's been exactly 1 year since I decided to make this transformation, the mental, physical transformation. It's exactly 1 year ago today where I came into the apartment, discussed with the people around me that I was going through this thing called depression and explained to them how I had bipolar disorder because they didn't know for the 5 years that I had been around them what was going on with me. Had an argument with my fiance, kind of led into an ultimatum because I had been doing so bad prior. Like I was just in a really dark place in my head and it got really bad, and which led up to the talk and discussion of me changing, which led up to me speaking with my aunt and explaining to her the situations. Shout out to you. And then eventually led to me talking to the people, that I was surrounded by and explaining the whole situation. And then from there, I felt a lot better and I made my decision to change, and that was on Valentine's Day. I'll insert the clip here of me explaining that on, the PO3 podcast. I had uploaded a solo 30-minute version of me explaining to you guys that I was gonna change and the state of mind that I was in. But it's been a year. Today is Valentine's Day 2022 and we made it.
I've had an epiphany. Everyone has their breaking point, and my partner was getting very, very close to that, and it scared the shit out of me. I don't want to lose her because of what I'm going through and the way I'm behaving because of my bipolar disorder and a number of other things. But I just noticed, I started declining mentally in a big way. I got more depressed than I've ever gotten before. I mean, I've been that depressed, but it's just scarier this time. I really started not to give a fuck about anything, including myself. And I just didn't care about anything. It got to a point where my partner even reached out to my mom because she was so concerned. And she's never done that before. She's always kept everything to herself. Speaking of that, yeah, so the people, let's just put it this way. So people very close to us who had no idea what was going on with me for these past 5 years, had no idea that I was struggling with a mental illness or that I was, unemployed for certain reasons or whatever. They had no idea because my partner never mentioned it to them, and a lot of it was because I didn't want to put business out there that would affect their perception of us, or I just didn't want any sympathy, and she didn't as well. She didn't want them to dislike me for any reason, so nothing ever got said. For a long time, we hid it from everybody. And after the incident happened where I felt like my partner reached a breaking point, I decided that I should take that weight off her shoulders and just inform them about what's going on in my situation, just have a heart-to-heart with them. And that was so nerve-wracking for me because it was one of those things where I dreaded doing and I just didn't know how to go about it. So knocked on the door, said, hey, can I speak to you for a minute on about something serious? Sat him down, poured myself some whiskey. We ended up talking about it for a good 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and I'll tell you, it was a huge weight lifted off my shoulders just to break everything down and let them know, like, look, if you guys ever felt like there were some weird vibes in the house, it was because of this. It was never directed towards you. It was just me being in my head and me just dealing with what I'm dealing with. Having done that, it was on Valentine's Day too. I even remember I mentioned saying that to you. I was like, I'm sorry to drop this shit on you guys on Valentine's Day, but if I don't do it now, I'm never gonna do it. That was just I viewed it as one step towards me really getting better, because that was the big talk that me and my partner had. My fiance was, you need to get better, and I made a promise to her that I'm going to finally take this shit 100% serious, because I don't want to lose her. And I don't expect her to stick around if I'm not helping myself, because I wouldn't want to be with somebody who's not helping themselves either. I like to take accountability for my actions and everything that I do. So I took accountability, and I'm ready for the first time in my life to finally correct this shit. So we started lining up doctor's appointments and doing research and looking at different places where we can go as a couple for couples therapy, individual therapy, and just treatment overall, and finally getting on medication. That's huge for me, and I'm pretty excited about the future now for the first time, and I'm looking forward to just finally getting better. It's been a long fucking road, so cheers to that. And for sure, I'm gonna get through this, and we're gonna get through this, and we will prosper. And for anybody out there who's struggling the way I'm struggling, and the way millions of people are struggling, just know that even though it feels like you don't have any hope left, there's always a light at the end of the tunnel if you just keep walking.
I held myself accountable. I've come a long way. A lot of changes have been made. I'm nowhere near done, nowhere near where I want to be mentally, physically, all that. I know that stuff doesn't matter. The consistency is what counts. And over this past year, it's been tough. A lot of times where I wanted to quit and give up, and I've had my ups and downs, and you know, with any endeavor, there's going to be those ups and downs, peaks and valleys, and you're going to want to quit and throw in the towel. That's just how everything goes. But if you just push through to the next day and to the next week, that time adds up and you get consistency. That's how consistency works, just repeating something over and over, forming a habit. And I've done that. It started as me counting the weeks, counting the months. I'm like, all right, cool, week 1, week 2, week 3. I'm at a month and a half now. And then eventually it just became a lifestyle change, and I didn't even worry about the time frame anymore. I was just like, this is just my life. Like, that 1 year mark is gonna come, and honestly, I forgot about it for a while. I was just living my life, doing my thing, just trying to put the work in, get it done, and trying to do that real internal work on myself, and just doing a lot of self-reflection and analyzation. But none of this would have ever happened. I would have never attempted to make the change if it wasn't for my fiance, like, straight up. And I wanted to be a better version of myself for her, because she's put up with so much, and we've been through so much together, and we've just stood the test of time. And that's a big reason I proposed to her. And I want to give her the best version of me, because what I was giving her before wasn't who I truly knew I could be inside. Like, I was just a very, very distorted version of myself, and it was affecting people around me, and it was affecting the people I love. It was affecting me. I was not in a good place at all, by any stretch of the imagination. But and I'll be real, there was a lot of times where I contemplated suicide. It just is what it is, and I've had those thoughts. And I'll say this, I don't think I could ever go down that route, but it was at a certain point a serious thought, just because I was just so sick of living, so sick of the circumstances which I found myself in, and I was just sick of the way I was living my life, and I felt like everything was against me. But it was a horrible mind state to be in, but I had to pull myself out of that mind state and really, really take a huge step back, and look into the mirror and be honest with myself as to why I was in the situation that I was in, and why I was thinking the way I was thinking. And I owe a lot of this change, like I said, to my supporters and my circle, you know, and my fiance. Of course, you're included in that. That's a given. You know, I don't even need to say that. I think you just already know that. I wasn't doing good, and like I said, I'm glad that we finally made it to the 1 year mark. And I honestly feel in a lot of ways like I'm living my life like how a recovering addict lives their life. I can only do certain things, and because if I develop these other bad habits, it's gonna lead me to backsliding again. And I know I have addicts in my family, and that shit runs in my blood, and I can feel it. I really feel that pull towards negativity and stuff, and it's really, really hard to overcome. But once you get past it and you start forming these habits and start living a more healthy lifestyle, everything gets better. And I know my family is very religious. They pray for me and stuff, so thank you guys and all that. And I appreciate everybody who's been there for me. But we made it, so it's pretty cool, you know, to look back on that footage. That's initially made me want to record what I'm recording now. I didn't even realize that the year mark had come. I just remember that on Valentine's Day is when it really, that's when I decided to make the change. Like, that's when that spark went off in my mind to like, all right, I'm done. Like, I'm done living this lifestyle. I'm ready to change. Like, really, I really want to change. And we're here, and we're gonna keep going. We're gonna make that 2-year mark, and we're gonna make that 3-year mark, and we're just gonna keep evolving. And that's my whole goal. And that's why I like to document everything, because I want you guys to see the growth. I want to see the growth. I want to look back on this and be able to say that I held myself accountable and that I stuck to my word, and then hopefully inspire some people to do the same thing, because I know how hard it is to find inspiration and how hard it is just to get started. But I just want everybody to know, like, I was down bad. Like, I was bad, and by some divine miracle I made a change. And with a lot of willpower as well. I got to give myself some credit, you know. I have a lot of ambition to be better and do better. And like I said, I'm a very competitive person, and I don't like when I see myself starting to fail in any aspect of life, down any avenue. I don't like seeing myself fail. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this video up. I just wanted to do something quick just to celebrate and commemorate the 1-year mark and the start of it. And we're gonna keep going. We're gonna keep going, and we're gonna keep pushing. And this shit ain't never over. There's no finish line. So shout out to everybody watching. Shout out to my supporters. Just expect a lot more from me. I'm not done. So we'll leave it at that.